In this video, I'm not going to talk about your usual average videos of like how to get more leads, how to grow your business by this lead generation system, by this outreach strategy, by this ad strategy. I'm going to talk about how you can 2 or 3x your business with the current lead flow that you have in your business. Now, everyone just always wants more and more and more and more leads, but they can't convert those leads. And that's what's holding them back from scaling the business. If you're already making 5, 10, 15K per month with your coaching, consulting, or agency business, and you have constant leads coming into your business, 95% of the time, it's not a lead flow issue. It's actually your sales process that's holding you back. So in this video, I'm going to show you the like an average sales process and a really good sales process that you can implement today, right now, to make sure that your close rate is going to be higher and your show rate is going to be higher. So that way you can just double your business in the first 1 month of implementing the system. So the first thing that I want you to do is ask yourself these questions. For example, the first one, what happens with my leads if they don't book in a call? For example, let's say you have a landing page funnel or like a VSL funnel. What happens if someone checks out your VSL, but they don't book in a funnel? Do you have their emails? Do you have their phone numbers? Are you sending them an email sequence? Are you sending them SMS campaigns? Are you following up with them? Are you using retargeting ads to get them back on the page? What do you do in order to get the people on the calendar as well that are just not booking on a call for the first time? That's the first one. Second is, what happens with my leads that don't show up? This is the second stage. They do book in the call, but they just don't show up. Are you following up with them? Do you have a CRM where you just put them as a no-show and circle back to them with email sequences, SMS sequences, promotions, having a setter to call them up and reschedule them? What do you do to get those no shows back on the calendar? Third one, what happens with my leads if I don't close them? So they booked in the call, they showed up, but they just didn't close for any reason. They gave you an objection, they just logistically couldn't move forward, they were unqualified. Do you just leave them as is? Do you just not do everything in your power to close those people? What there's a lot of things that you can do with those guys as well. You can downsell them. You can send them some free assets to nurture them so that when they have money in 3 months, for example, or when they logistically can move forward, they will. You have to use these assets and all of these little strategies that can help you make more money even in the future. You can pre-sell these people so when the time is right, they can come into the program immediately. And the last one, what I have as an example is what happens with my leads if they ghost me in the DMs? For example, a DM funnel. What happens is if they just ghost you, you have a conversation with them, you send them a calendar link, and they ghost you. Do you have follow up sequences? Do you have sales assets that you can send them? What do you do to make sure that you never leave any lead? I have this little code that I'm not sure if it's mine or if anybody else uses this code as well. But what I stand by is never leave the lead. As long as you can send them a message, call them up, send them emails, send them SMS campaigns, as long as you can get in contact with that person, do it. What's the worst thing that they can do? Say no, say fuck you, is the same thing as if you don't do anything in your power to get them on the calendar. So you can at least just try. So always try to get these people back on the calendar, and don't be scared that they're going to say fuck you or I'm not interested, because that's the same outcome as if you were to not do anything in your power to get them back on the calendar. So start with these questions, ask these questions for yourself, and see what the answer is. If your answer is that I'm doing everything in my power to get them back on the calendar, then it's awesome. Let's see the sales process and let's compare these sales processes. Now, my robot is so laggy for some reason that I have no idea what's going on. But I've made like 6 of these videos, so it's gonna be poor quality in the first 6 videos. But yeah, so how an average sales process looks like. I'm gonna talk about this for a second. So first things first, it starts with a funnel. It can be a DM conversation funnel. It can be like a normal VSL, any type of funnel with paid ads or organic. Now what happens is they go through the funnel and then they book in a call. Now with an average sales process, what happens is once they book in a call with you, they get some random, default calendar reminders like, hey, your call is in 24 hours. Hey, this and this and this. So like some random default reminders. What happens is, let's say the sales call is in 3 days. So in those 3 days, they get like 3 reminders from Calendly, and that's the only thing that they get. before they hop on a call with you. And now what's going to happen is they might close the deal, you might not close the deal. But the reason why this sales process is really bad is because there's no sales assets that you send them, and there's no real reminders. It sounds and looks like a robot if you send them like default calendar reminders. So you have to make a bunch of workflows. I use like 10 workflows in my calendar reminder section with SMS and email campaigns, and you have to send them sales assets. If it's let's say it's a DM conversation funnel, you need to send them VSLs. In your reminders, you need to send them YouTube videos. You need to send them client results, case studies, sales, like even more sales assets. You need to put them to a thank you page. There are so many things that you can do to make sure that these people show up and are actually nurtured. That you need to do these things in order for you to close effectively and have trust in all of these clients. Now, I just break down some numbers. This is not accurate. This is like like an estimate that I see in the market. Yours could be different. This is just like an average that I see in the market. So with the average sales process, what's gonna happen is out of 100 sales calls, 50% of these people are gonna show up. Now the reason for that is because there's 3 days in between the sales call being scheduled and then the actual live sales call happening. 3 days. the if you have, let's say, a coaching business, then these people are busy. They're working a 9 to 5. They're busy. They just don't have the time and the energy to keep this sales call in their mind. And you have to send them reminders. And if you don't do that, they're just not going to show up to the call because they forget who you are. It's that simple. So let's say 50% shows up. That's 50 live sales calls that you have from 100. Immediately a 50% drop off just because your sales process is so average and it's so simple, I would say. Like it's not dialed in, that half of your leads are just gone. You've burnt half of your leads. Now, what happens is because you didn't send them nurturing assets, you didn't send them VSLs, client results, testimonials, or any of those things, you close maybe 15 or maximum 20% of these leads. Usually, what I see in the market is a 10 to 15% close rate in the market. Now, let's say you have a $3,000 package, then with 7 closes, you'll collect $21,000 cash collected from 100 sales calls, which might seem okay. Like, it's still 21K collected, but it could be so much better, and you could be wasting so much less leads if you just dialed in your sales process. So let me show you the goated sales process, as I called it. So what happens is the sales call is scheduled. First thing that they get is they get to a thank you page. It's a short thank you video like, hey, I appreciate you booked in the call. There are some client results on the bottom. Go check them out. Here's also an asset. Check them out. We'll also send you some emails. Check those out. So we tell them what to do before hopping on the actual sales call. And what I mean by tell them is we tell them to watch some client results, watch a VSL, check out our emails, check out our SMS campaigns, and immediately what they'll do is they go ahead and watch all of these assets, basically pre-selling themselves, nurturing themselves. So on the thank you page, what's going to happen is, like I said, a pre-call video with some client results and testimonials. Then, like I mentioned, the workflows, we have proper email and SMS reminder workflows that we send out to these people instead of those random default, calendar reminders. I think there's like 3 reminders in the default calendar automations. We send 10, 6 email and 4 SMS workflows we send out, which is customized. Everything is really special, and we use client results, testimonials, YouTube assets. We use a lot of these things in the emails. It's not just an email saying, hey, thank you for booking in the call, we have it in 2 days. It's not that simple. So have proper email workflows. And what I mean by proper is use assets and use all your resources that you can to make sure that these people are going to hop on a call, and when they do, they're going to be qualified. Now, yeah, like I mentioned, send some sales assets through email and SMS campaigns, and then you have the live sales call. And if you're good, then you're gonna close the deal. Now, I put another, like, I guess, process here. So if they are booked through DMs, the actual sales call. So let's say it's not a website funnel, but they're just booking a call themselves. But there's a setter having a conversation with them on Instagram, and they're booking a call through there. After the call is scheduled in, send them immediately a long form content asset. It could be a VSL, could be a really valuable long form video based on their pain points. Send them something after you book them in so that they watch something immediately when they're booking a call. That's gonna trigger like something in their brain that, okay, this guy is valuable. I'm gonna show up to the meeting because he knows everything about my pain point and how to solve it. That's why long form videos like this one, for example, this is very good because you can nurture people and show them a process, show them a solution to their pain points and how they can actually solve it. And it's not going to end here. You can also use follow-up sequences in the DMs. So for example, you book them in on Monday, but the sales call is taking place on Friday, for example. Then what you can do is you can message them on Wednesday and on Friday, like, hey, I just want to check in with you. Are we still good for the meeting on Friday? Cool. Okay. And you can do the same thing on Friday as well and Wednesday as well. Because then it's an extra confirmation that they're going to show up to the meeting. Now, if we break down the numbers, then how it's going to look like is, so if we break down the numbers, I'm sorry if I'm pausing the recording, I'm just a little bit sick and I need to drink. So if you have 100 sales calls, then with this sales process, if you dial it in correctly, then you can calculate with a 75% show rate. So with that rate, you're gonna have 75 live sales calls. It's 75 more than with the previous sales process. So you're basically not wasting an extra 25 live calls by adding a couple extra steps to your sales process when someone books in a call and they hop on a call in between that time frame. So 75 live sales calls. Now, with a nurturing process like this, you can easily calculate with a 25% or more or higher close percentages, because these guys, by the time they hop on a call with you, they've seen your client results, they've seen your testimonials, they've seen your VSL, they've seen your process, they've seen a bunch of these valuable videos, so they know exactly who you are, what you offer, and how the exact thing works. So you can easily calculate with a 25% close rate, and with that, with those numbers, you can have 19 closed deals. Now, if you go back, you had 7 closed deals here. The same amount of leads, 100 and 100. The same amount of leads is just you change the way they get to the call. You change the full sales process and you've added a couple of steps. And with that math, with a 3K package, you've collected 57,000 USD, which is 2157. You nearly 3x your business. You nearly 3x your business without using any additional lead generation strategies, any more cold outreaches. You didn't increase your ad spend. You didn't do any of that stuff. It's the same amount of lead flow, but you managed to nearly triple your revenue, triple your cash collected, because you dialed in a couple of things. You can set all of these things up in a matter of 2 or 3 days. Everything, as long as you create everything, it's even from scratch. Like, of course, I have everything like plug and play. I can just go into your business, for example, and just plug it into it and be done in like 2 hours. But if you start from scratch, you can make all of these things in 3 days. So you basically can triple your business in 3 days without having a closer, having an extra setter. The business is the exact same, but you can still triple it. This is this is why having a mentor or having someone that understands these things come into your business, because they can make you a lot of money. Okay, so I'm gonna end the video here. Hopefully you have some clarity on how you can optimize and dial in your sales process. I'm gonna be coming with a bunch of these videos. I'm gonna upload some lead generation videos as well, so don't worry about that. I'm gonna help you out as well with those things and just give you some sauce and some extra value. But make sure that your sales process is dialed in, and then you know what you're doing when it comes to having someone hop on a sales call and getting them to watch videos, watch assets, watch emails, testimonials, client results, because then it's gonna be so much easier. You're just making your own life easier if you implement these things. So that's it for today. Hopefully you enjoyed it. And if you like these videos, don't forget to follow me, because I'm gonna be, or sorry, subscribe me. This is YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe me, because I'm gonna be dropping a bunch of bangers throughout the next weeks. So stay tuned.